Welcome to The Next Wave, a United We podcast for young professionals spotlighting young professionals and the impact they're making across the Coastal Bend. This is what's next. Hi, and welcome to the very first episode of The Next Wave, the Chamber's official podcast for young professionals, spotlighting young professionals. Here with me today, I have Alissa Ramirez. And first of all, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And if you could please just talk a little bit about yourself, that'd be amazing.
All right. So my name is Alissa Ramirez. I currently serve as Assistant Director of Student Transition Programs at Texas A&M University-Corpus Christi. When I'm not doing my regular career job, I serve as the President-elect for Young Professionals of the Coastal Bend. I serve on the steering committee for Leadership Corpus Christi. Actively volunteer at various organizations within the community. And when I'm not doing all of that, I'm on the pickleball court, or I'm also officiating weddings or even coordinating weddings. So if you need a contact, I got you.
maybe soon. Who knows? So if you don't mind, what kind of got you on that career path? How did that end up happening?
Yeah. So I feel like I kind of fell into higher education. Growing up, both my parents actually worked in higher ed spaces. So I was always around college, university, environment. But once I got to school, and I just started to get involved in student organizations and was a campus tour guide and an orientation leader and all those kinds of things, I really found a love and a passion for students and for student development. And so I kind of just stayed within the higher education space. So after I graduated from the university, I had the opportunity to start working. I was recruiting students for the university, did a couple of different roles there. Transitioned to Del Mar, actually worked at the community college level, and then now kind of came back to the university space. So I've always worked in higher education. I love working with students and seeing their growth and their development, from just figuring out what they want to do to actually graduating and getting degrees and moving on. That's seeing kind of the whole full circle moment is really rewarding.
Got you. And I heard a little bit that I guess you helped start or you started the dual credit program at TAM UCC.
Yes,
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So our program's called Islander Academy. It's our dual credit program. It's a pretty new initiative that we have kind of started back up at the university. It's an opportunity for our high school partners for the students to take dual credit classes. So they're taking university level courses and they get credit in high school and at the university. What's great about that is the students that are participating at our high schools, it's completely free. They don't have to pay any tuition or any textbook costs. So it's a great opportunity for 15, 16-year-old to kind of start to get their feet wet, figure out what they might like, get some experience with college classes before they really commit. Whether they are looking to pursue a full degree, or maybe they want to get a certification of some kind. Anything nowadays requires some type of education. And so to give students an opportunity to kind of jumpstart that in their high school career definitely helps set them up for success. And also saves them a lot of time and definitely a lot of money. Wish I had taken advantage of that.
No, I'm sure my parents were very, very happy that I took a couple of dual credit classes.
Yeah. For sure.
It definitely helped, I would say, in high school too, just kind of figuring out what exactly college is like, because I know that transition is a little difficult for some people.
It can be scary, yeah.
But yeah, well, first of all, thank you. I'm sure the community thanks you for that.
Thank you.
Aside from that, I know you do a lot. Is there any project or anything in particular that has really, I guess, spoken to you recently, or that you really would like to share?
Yeah, so I think I'll definitely highlight our young professionals. So Young Professionals of Coastal Bend, YP for short. We are basically like a social nonprofit focused on retaining and recruiting and retaining young professionals and keeping them here locally in the Coastal Bend. So whether you are, kind of just starting out in your career, 20-something, to late 30s. It's an opportunity for those individuals to get together, to network, to learn. We have our day-to-day jobs, right? And sometimes depending on what you're doing or where you're at in that career level, sometimes you may not have opportunities for professional development. And so what we want to do is provide those locally, give individuals opportunities to meet with, city leaders or other industries to learn and grow and learn more about their community that they're in. So we host a monthly network opportunity. It's a great time for just people to get together, mix and mingle. We try to have a guest speaker of some kind, focus it on a particular topic. We have our professional development speaker series, so we do kind of more of a panel setup, we've done one where we've brought in local city leaders and we did a lunch with leaders and we literally just sat there and ate burgers and got to talk to, people from the city and from the port and HEB and opportunities that, kind of average Joe wouldn't really be able to have. We do socials. So next month we're having a pickleball social. Definitely how to make sure we throw that in to the mix. I'll be coaching if anybody wants to come by.
Nice.
And so just opportunities for people to engage, interact, get to know each other. It's been really cool to see at some of our events where somebody will mention, hey, I'm looking for a job and this is kind of what I'm looking for. And then somebody's there in the crowd that's like, hey, that's what I do. And they strike up a conversation and hopefully some jobs have led from that, right? But if not, just those connections and kind of building that network that I know so-and-so, they can help with this. Or vice versa. Like if you ever need something, hey, this is what I do and this is what I'm good at and I'll be there and can help you. Nice.
Now, you said you're with young professionals.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you've seen a lot of young professionals.
Yes.
What would you say currently is something that most employers aren't necessarily aware of that young professionals are really strongly suited in?
Yeah. I think something that for young professionals is we're adaptable. And I think sometimes we can be overlooked when a hiring committee is looking at a resume because we tend to hop around, right? We spend a couple years in one role and then maybe we move to something else and maybe we move to a different company. And I think what's different from what our parents have done and our grandparents, right, is obviously a different generation, but at that time it was very much this commitment and this loyalty to one organization and you worked there, your whole life, right? That's different. That's changed. I've worked at the university for several years, but within that I've had different roles and different opportunities. And so to maybe kind of be in the same place for that long, like that's kind of scary, right? So I think what makes us exceptional is that we have the ability and the capabilities to move around, to adapt. And, nowadays sometimes that's what you have to do to have that opportunity to move up, because some of that older generation has been in the roles for so long. And so I think that we can maybe get overlooked because somebody may see that and think, oh, well, they're not committed to it, but that's not the case. Like we just know how to adapt and we want to learn new things and we want to grow and develop and, expand our own skill set and our own wheelhouse, because then that makes us a better candidate for other things later on down the road.
I completely agree. I think that was really, really well said.
Thank you.
So I know that you're currently on the Leadership Corpus Christi Steering Committee.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about, what it was like going through the process of the leadership class, and then a little bit about what Leadership Steering Committee is?
Yeah. So the program is a 10-month program, focuses on, all types of leadership opportunities, an opportunity to kind of go behind the scenes of the city. We have once a month there's a session and we talk about education and economic development and learn about the port and get to tour the port. Not everybody gets to do that, right? Learn from our local government and our state government. that still to me goes above my head. That's more your area. But it's great to learn that. And that's something that I wouldn't necessarily know. I think the best experience through my time in the class was, like I mentioned, my realm of knowledge is very much only higher education, whether that be community college or university level. So meeting individuals that worked in different industries, and whether that be in my class or my classmates, or people that came to speak to us, I got to really dive into a lot of stuff that I probably would have never learned because I just didn't necessarily have a need to. Some of those connections and friendships I met going on, 3 years now, we're still friends. A lot of us go and play pickleball. I think we're having brunch tomorrow actually to, hang out with the class. So those are some really great connections that were developed through that program. After I graduated from the program, took a year off, and then decided this past year to come back to be on the steering committee. And so the steering committee focuses on planning the sessions. So those once a month sessions, we have a subcommittee for each one, and we're in charge of finding the speakers and setting up the agenda and making sure that we are providing the new class a experience similar, but hopefully even better than what we got to experience. So we serve as we like to say the tour guides of their experience, their journey. We have our own little small groups, and so we meet with them monthly to make sure that they are enjoying their time and answer any questions or just be of service to them. And it's been a great opportunity. I'm sad that it's almost over, but we'll see later on what we have down the road. I'm sure I'll be back, maybe one day, chair. We'll see.
Yes. And for y'all that don't know, current class applications for Leadership Corpus Christi are open, so definitely apply. And if you have already gone through the class, steering committee applications are open, so definitely check that out. There really are great ways to get connected and kind of impact your community. I mean, I think what you said was pretty accurate in that. So for sure.
Definitely a great opportunity for sure. I recommend anybody to apply. There's times that, individuals have applied it several times, and firm believer in that, if you're selected, that's the class that you're meant to be in. So if it doesn't work out the first time, that's okay. Try again. The goal is for us to have tons of applications, right? So that makes the pool that much harder to kind of sift through to find the best individuals for that class. But don't give up. Keep trying.
Real. No, for sure. So you talked a little bit about Leadership Corpus Christi. What would you say if a young professional wanted to get into the community? What would you say that first step is? Maybe even before Leadership Corpus Christi.
Definitely a plug for young professionals, right? For YP, that's a great opportunity for, really the young professionals, right? Maybe fresh out of college, trying to figure out what to do, how to get involved. We do have a membership fee, but it's $50 for the whole year. That's a steal, right? And with that, a lot of the events and things that we host are free. You don't have to pay for them. If you do, it's a small cost. But that's a great way for somebody that just kind of doesn't really know where to start to get involved in. From there, I think it's also just kind of finding things that you're interested in. We always have something going on in Corpus, whether that's an event, a festival, a volunteer opportunity. There's always something happening. And I think it's also being a little willing to kind of just go out and find something. And so maybe leadership is a little scary or a little big right now, but young professionals is a great opportunity. I know there's other organizations out there that are kind of focused on similar things, but might be geared to a particular field. If you're a realtor, there's an organization for that. If we have Hispanic Women's Network, there's tons of different opportunities and organizations that are doing great things in the city. And so it's really just finding what you're interested in and being willing to kind of put yourself out there and kind of take a chance. And when you start doing that and you keep doing that and continue that involvement, another little plug on the YP side is we have our Corpus Christi Under 40 nominations. That nomination window is opening on Monday. And so that's an opportunity for you as an individual to nominate yourself or to nominate somebody else, but to nominate somebody in the community that's doing some really great work. And we have, some people that you actively see doing stuff, right? But there's a lot of people that are kind of behind the scenes or a little bit more in the shadows that are still doing some really great stuff in the community, and they're volunteering, they're giving back, they're making a true impact, and we want to recognize those individuals. And so it's a quick little nomination form. We will be sharing information about that, and then we'll have the actual celebration in August. I was honored to be selected in 2024 for Corpus Christi Under 40. That's a recognition I'm pretty proud of. So
nice. That's definitely something to be proud of. That's awesome. So I've got one last question for you. If you could tell yourself something before you started your career, before you started on this path, I mean, what would you tell yourself? Just, I mean, a little.
I think it's really important to surround ourselves with like-minded individuals, and I think something that I learned early on through college, it's a time to learn and grow, right? So you meet people, and there's some people that are like, maybe that wasn't the right choice, right? But it's important to surround yourself with people that are on that similar track, that are on a similar path. And, we have our group of friends, and we love them and we care for them, but they may not be in that same upward trajectory as us, right? And so to put ourselves in spaces with individuals that are really rooting for us and that are going to really guide us through that is important. And I think for myself, that's something that I learned early on, and then also, you learn from those experiences and those, quote unquote mistakes, right? So you learn from them, and you want to then help somebody else do better. And so finding a mentor, whether that be, just a friend that's a couple years older, or a, young professional if you're still in college, or sometimes I call them like an adult. Like, I'm an adult, but like, you're an adult. And sometimes we need that. We need an adult to kind of just guide us and help us. And, just to, parents and guardians can be a great resource, but I don't want to listen to what my mom says, right? But if somebody else tells me, I might hear it a little differently. Right. And so, finding those individuals, and they're out there, and most people, at least in my experience, most people are super willing to help, willing to kind of give back, and kind of getting that little plug on the young professional side. If you think you're not a young professional, we can still utilize you. You can serve as a mentor for our organization and help those young professionals that are looking for that mentorship. You can be that individual for them. And I think it's really finding somebody to kind of help guide you through that, because life is scary, right? And trying to grow and develop and advance in our careers and, deal with just the world, we need help. And I think it's important to be willing to ask for help when we need it too.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. I really, really do appreciate you being my first guest.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it too.
Of course. But yeah, I think you definitely got us off to a really good start. I really am hoping that this ends up kind of spotlighting a little bit more about our community, because we're still in that learning process, and because of that, we're still pretty much in the dark.
Yes.
So I really hope the audience that's watching this, I really hope y'all see that. I mean, we are young professionals, and yes, we are young, but at the same time, we are professionals, and we are trying our best to make waves. That's kind of why our podcast is named The Next Wave, because that's what we're trying to do. And like I said, I really appreciate you being on here with me, and for everything that you said. And I really hope that maybe somebody sees this and it connects in a really important way.
Hope so too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.